Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and welcome to a special edition of Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I'm here today to talk to you about Asian and Pacific Islander Red Rangers. Yes, we actually had some in the past. When it comes to the Power Ranger fandom, a lot of people have been wanting to see an Asian Red Ranger because many people felt like there's never been one. And since Power Rangers is based on Super Sentai on a Japanese series and everybody there is Japanese, people have always wondered how come there's never been like an Asian Red Ranger. Only thing is, there has been. It's just that there's never been a 100% Asian Red Ranger. Every Red Ranger that we've had that has been Asian has always been mixed. But just because they're mixed doesn't mean they're not Asian. You know what I'm saying? Now, this threw a lot of people off because they don't have Asian features that people normally notice and stuff. And we've actually had an Asian Red Ranger ever since the beginning of the very first Power Rangers series. Jason, played by Austin St. John, is actually half Native American, half Japanese, half Spanish. Did I say Native American already? If I didn't, half Italian and stuff. And so a lot of people never realized, even myself never realized he was half Asian and stuff. How much of Asian he has in him, I have no idea. And so, like, I always assumed he was like Italian or like something like that, or maybe Spanish or something. But yeah, he has a little Japanese in him and stuff. And of course, he is the very first Red Ranger in the Power Rangers series, being in that of Mighty Morphin. He was the leader and he had a very commanding, dominant voice. He was like a pretty good student, and all of them goody goody two shoes students and stuff. And every once in a while, he'll have like a chip on his shoulder towards the Green Ranger in real life and also on the show. And so, like, for the most part, Jason was always like a helpful person. He used to try to help Billy with like martial arts. He taught like martial arts. But when Zordon recruited him to be a Power Ranger, he saw he had a different goal. Of course, he didn't last that long because the actor left somewhere in the like second season, and then he reappeared as like, of course, the Gold Ranger in Zeo, and then that one brief appearance in the Turbo movie. And so, like, he's not the only Asian Power Ranger we've ever had. Well, Red Ranger, I should say. In fact, in Time Force, Daniel Southworth, he's actually half Chinese and half Vietnamese, and I forgot what the other part is. I think it might be Indian or something like that. But yeah, I never knew this dude had Asian in him whatsoever. Now, Eric, he played Eric, and Eric in Time Force was the Quantum Ranger, a sixth Ranger. Now, I do plan on going over, like, since it's Asian and Pacific Islander month, every Asian and Pacific Islander Ranger there is, like I always do. This is my first time ever doing it because I never knew this was a holiday in America. And so, like never, we didn't have this when I was growing up. And stuff. The very first video I ever did was Trini, but I did hers back in either January or February because I wanted to herb and do her. Only because I was really feeling Trini like around that time, because like, the Once and Always was coming up soon, and I would just always had her on my mind, so I decided to do that video first and stuff. But yeah, so like he was a very unique ranger. He was the sixth ranger. And I remember seeing this, thinking to myself, why is the sixth ranger red? That don't make no sense. But he is in fact a red ranger, as proven in Forever Red. Eric, the Quantum Ranger, was very special and unique. He was technically the first ranger to ever be created by Time Force before they created the Chronomorphers. He had the quantum morpher and stuff. And But that morpher was probably the first in a line of an actual team, but that morpher got lost. And so they abandoned that project and later came up with the Chronomorphers and the actual Time Force Power Rangers team. Eric is so unique and different because he was never officially part of the Time Force Rangers. He was not a team player. He was very smug, rude, arrogant. He had a huge chip on his shoulder because he hated Wes. He grew up poor, Wes was rich, and they just drifted apart. And he felt like he always had to prove himself in society and work extremely hard for what he had. He wasn't technically an evil ranger, but he was very grumpy, let's put that. It's only towards the end he starts to show a nicer side to himself, but very briefly, when he befriends like his neighbor and gets his mega battle. And then when Trip has to remind him not all aliens are evil, and he has a side of prejudice towards him and he needs to let that go. He doesn't officially join the team until they start doing crossovers and reunion specials. But he is indeed a Red Ranger. And it would have been interesting to see what the other Quantum Rangers would have looked like if he would have had a full team. And when it comes to that of Asian Red Rangers, the last Asian Red Ranger we had is Russell Curry. Russell Curry is actually half black, half white, and half Japanese. He is the last Red Ranger from that of Dino Fury. And he's an alien who could not conquer this big bad threat. And, you know, it pretty much like took over his planet and he came to Earth to try to find another solution, I believe. I'm still a little fuzzy when it comes to Dino Fury. Like I said before, it's not my favorite season. But he is a very capable, very brave Red Ranger. And he's alien with these little alien red antennae, and he can, like, you know, read people's minds and see into their thoughts and into their past. And he's a very fascinating ranger for a very uninteresting Power Ranger season. Sadly, he did sacrifice himself for the great of the mission, you know what I'm saying? In the very last episode of Dino Fury, where he actually died. But then he somehow got resurrected, and then he had like this new red and white outfit with the cape that's never been explained. And then now in Cosmic Fury, which has not came out yet, he will be, I don't even know what color this is. Like, he calls it champagne. It doesn't really look like the color champagne, but all I know is he got demoted as Red Ranger, because now there's a new Red Ranger in the form of Amelia. And those are actually the actual, like, you know, only Asian Red Rangers we've ever had. Now, there is one Samoan Red Ranger, and he is, in fact, the only Pacific Islander Red Ranger, and that is Shane from Ninja Storm when Disney bought the company and brought it over to New Zealand, which is probably why that's the only reason why we've ever had a Samoan Red Ranger. But the show still films in New Zealand, and yet we still have not had another Samoan Red Ranger or that many Pacific Islander Rangers in general. In fact, when it went to Disney, they casted a lack of Asian stars. In fact, there are some Power Ranger seasons in the Disney era that doesn't have a single Asian character. They'll have like one Pacific Islander character, but no Asian, which is very odd and bizarre. And I think there's about there's seven. Yeah, there's 7 Disney Power Ranger seasons, but only 4 of them actually have an Asian or Pacific Islander like character, where the other ones do not for some bizarre reason. It's really weird and bizarre how the casting went with that. Now, Shane was a skateboarder, a dude that liked to have fun, but when it came to his ninja studies, he took that very seriously, even though he wasn't that great at first. When he was the Red Ranger, because all the other ninja students had got like captured, he took his ninja studies very, very, very serious. And he was a very good and great Red Ranger. In fact, he's one of my favorite Red Rangers, which is even more heartbreaking that the actor took his life, and even more devastating knowing the reasons why he took his life. He was a man with some severe demons from what he did to his wife. And it's really hard to rewatch that season looking at him, knowing the kind of person he was in real life, which is so sad and tragic. And it even makes it hard for me to even want to talk about him in these videos because I don't like when men hit women and stuff and do other dark type things. But let's get away from that. But anyway, those are the only Asian and Pacific Islander Red Rangers we have ever had in this series. And you would think when it comes to Power Rangers, especially when they have like a more martial arts ninja-esque type thing, there would be not only more Asian Rangers, but there would be an actual Asian Red Ranger. But there never is. Whenever there's like an Asian like martial arts ninja type thing to their season, their Red Rangers are always something other than Asian. They're either white, they're Indian, they're Samoan, or they're just something else. And it's very odd, or Lebanese and stuff. And it's very, very, very odd that they don't do that. Happy Asian and Pacific Islander month, everybody. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.